German officials confirmed that a German frigate will sail through the South China Sea this summer. This is the first time since 2002 such a move is being contemplated. Officials in the country's defense and foreign ministries told Reuters that the frigate, scheduled to embark on a trip to Asia in August, will traverse the South China Sea on the return leg of its journey. The transit will mark the first time in 19 years that a German warship has passed through the contested waters and is being viewed as a freedom of navigation operation. German officials stated that the frigate will stay outside the 12 nautical mile point that marks what claimants assert to be their territorial waters. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why Germany's decision to send a warship to the South China Sea has major implications for China. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by War Thunder, the most comprehensive military vehicle online game for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, in which you can go to battle on more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s. The game has an amazing attention to detail and focuses on a realistic combat experience, which is why knowing your vehicles and skill really makes a difference. It's easy to get into, and all you need to play is nothing more but your mouse and keyboard or controller. Immerse yourself in cross-platform combat with more than 20 million other military vehicle enthusiasts from all over the world. Download and play War Thunder for free using the link in the description below, and also get a free bonus tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account. China claims almost 90% of the South China Sea through its so-called 9-line map. It says that it has indisputable sovereignty over the sea. The wide-reaching demarcation was rejected by an arbitral tribunal at The Hague in July 2016. The U.S. is aligning its South China Sea policy with this ruling and has officially rejected many of China's claims to the contested waterway. It's important to note that several countries, which include Vietnam, the Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan, have disputed Chinese assertions and have overlapping claims of their own. Countries like the US, Japan, India, and Australia have no claims but want freedom of navigation. The route is significant as about $5 trillion in trade through shipping passes each year. The sea also has alleged 11 billion barrels of untapped oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. China has tried imposing unilateral decision as per which all ships and aircraft navigating in the area need to identify themselves to the Chinese military. Chinese Navy has heckled vessels of smaller nations like Vietnam several times in the last couple of years. It has militarized several islands in the area and has even deployed advanced missile systems like YJ-12 anti-ship missile, as well as HQ-9 surface-to-air missile. Japanese Defense Minister Kishi Nobuo in December invited Germany to send a naval vessel to join Japan's self-defense forces in drills. He also said that charting a route through the South China Sea would aid international efforts to maintain the right of transit amid China's aggressive expansion. The proposed transit will place Germany along with France and Britain when it comes to asserting rights in the South China Sea. French Defense Minister Florence Parly had earlier announced that the French nuclear attack submarine SNA Amiraud recently conducted a patrol in the South China Sea. She revealed that the French nuclear attack submarine SNA Amiraud was among 2 Navy ships. Britain's Defense Minister Gavin Williamson had earlier stated that the country's new aircraft carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, will go to the Pacific on its first operational mission. He had added, "The UK is a global power with truly global interest. We must be prepared to compete for our interests and our values far, far from home." The Ministry of Defense has been urged by British politicians to send HMS Queen Elizabeth to the South China Sea to stand up to China. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin stated that all countries enjoyed the freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea, but this should not be used as an excuse to endanger the sovereignty and security of literal countries. Global Times, which is the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party, last week accused the U.S. of attempting to contain China by rallying its Western allies to the South China Sea and declared the increased naval presence of these countries to be futile. It stated further, "Nevertheless, the People's Liberation Army will be prepared." The United States has hailed plans by Germany to send the warship across the contested South China Sea, calling it welcome support for a rules-based international order in the region. A spokesman for the U.S. State Department said, "The United States has a national interest in the maintenance of peace and stability, respect for international law, lawful unimpeded commerce, and freedom of navigation and other lawful uses of the sea. We welcome Germany's support for a rules-based international order in the Indo-Pacific. The international community has a vital stake in the presentation of an open maritime order. The U.S. Navy regularly conducts freedom of navigation operations, or FONOP, to which its warships pass close by to some of these islands. Recently, USS Russell, DDG-59, sailed near the Spratly Islands. Also earlier, USS John S. McCain, DDG-56, has performed a FONOP near the Paracel Islands after it moved through the Taiwan Strait. The U.S. has asked allies to do the same. Germany has prioritized its trade and business interests with China, but things appear to be changing now. It's becoming increasingly firm when it comes to several issues. Germany is an economic power, has a strong military, and is a NATO member. It has the political clout, along with France, to rally the EU against China. This spells trouble for China on many fronts. If things go out of hand, the EU could impose economic sanctions on China, which will have a pretty adverse impact. The news has come at a time when the Biden administration is continuing the Trump administration's policy of sending warships to the South China Sea. The UK, Australia, and Japan are reportedly planning Pacific exercises that could also bring them into the sea later this year. It's getting increasingly clear that like-minded countries are forming an informal alliance to counter China.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.